Welcome to MTG friends. We are doing another Commander deck tech. This time we are doing Yuriko EDH Shadow Sunkoya Rocket. Yes, thank you very much. All right, Yuriko the Tiger Shadow. It's got Ninjustu. What's even cooler, it's got Commander Ninjustu. So you can do the Ninjustu mechanic from the command zone, which is why this is super duper special. And you can do that for a mere blue black. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Each opponent loses life equal to that card's converted mana cost. We got something super spicy and special. I'm definitely going to build this in the physical cards realm. This is a fun one. We've got a lot of ninja synergy, but we also have a little bit of rogue action, and we're calling that package Rogue Support. So, as usual, subscribe if you're new. Thank you if you already are a subscriber. We really appreciate it. Hit the like button, and comments are always welcome. All right, let's see what this is all about, y'all. So we got removal, land, Ninja Gaiden, yes. Count control, some tutors, not a ton of ramp, some rogue support, a few draw, and then the gimme some turns. Gimme turns. I want some turns. And it's worth mentioning that as of this recording, this is the first recording we've done since Hull Breacher is now dead to Commander X. No more Commander time for you, Mr. Hull Breacher. Anyways, let's move on like Shaka Khan, y'all. All right, let's do removal first. First Z's, then second Z's, then third Z's. Ooh, I'm on a roll today. I'm in the mood, folks. I'm in the mood. All right, we got a few Cyclonic Rift effects because I just think they're janky and hilarious. And we just want to keep the board off kilter the whole time we play this deck. Coastal Breach, 6, Undaunted. It costs 1 less for each opponent. So let's do the math. 7, 1, 2, 3. So if you got 3 other opponents, this sucker cost you 4? 4 to shove everything back into their owner's hands. I love it. Now, yes, I hear you. I hear you through the video. It's not as cool as Cyclonic Rift because it also returns your non-land permanents. I get it, man. I get it. All right. Speaking of which, Cyclonic Rift. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to its owner's hand with Overload for 7, which does all non-land permanents to your opponents, not yours. That's why Cyclonic Rift is so much cooler than the other ones. All right, Damnation for that reset button. Deadly Rollick to just get rid of something that's persnickety and sticking too hard to the board. Exile target creature. If you got your commander out, costs you nothing. Decree of Pain. Destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. Draw a card for each card destroyed this way. Since we don't have a ton of draw mechanics going on, although we have some, this one will help in a pinch. Plus, you can cycle it for 5 to make the board -2/-2, which is interesting when you're going against Tribal. So that is kind of a bonus to this card, which is pretty spendy, a 6+ black. Devastation Tide, another janky return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. Now, we have a few cards in this build that make them coming back to our hands not as bad. Like, for instance, Reliquary Tower, which is the land that allows you to have no hand size, y'all. All right, Devastation Tide, 5-drop, turn all non-land permanents to their owner's hand, plus a cool little miracle. It's the miracle, people. For 2, you can cast this card for its miracle cost when you draw it, if it's the first card you drew this turn. Now, in case you haven't dealt with miracle much, I really behoove you, fancy way of saying I recommend, that if you miracle this card off the top of your deck, you rip it, show it to people so that they know that it is a miracle spell. Or if you don't want to show them what the spell is because you're worried about countering, put it aside from the rest of your hand and then play it that way. That way you can go, no, man, it actually did come off the top. I ripped it, yo. All right, Evacuation, another one for 5. Return all creatures to their owner's hands. Feed the Swarm. Oh, we're in removal still, not just janky return to your hand stuff. Feed the Swarm is great because you can also destroy an enchantment as well as a creature, either or. Snuff Out. Snuff, just a cool name for a card. If you control a swamp, you may pay 4 life rather than pay Snuff Out's mana cost. Destroy target non-black creature, it can't be regenerated. I mean, most likely you're going to be dealing with somebody who's not playing black creatures. I don't know why I'm swinging my hand so much. All right, we got control. We're going to blast through this. It's stuff you'd expect. Counterspell for 2. Cursed Totem for 2. Activated abilities of creatures you can't be activated. So, you know, let's say Elf Tribal, they keep tapping for mana. Nope. No siree, Bobalicious. Ain't happening, buddy. Dauthi Voidwalker out of Modern Horizons 2. Me likey this cardy. It's a 2-drop 3/2 shadow, which means it cannot be blocked by creatures that don't have shadow themselves. Unblockable. And we really like that in this build because we want to get our ninjas whack-a-moleing for showsies. And then it has the added benefit of if a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a void counter on it. Yes. No graveyard play for you, sir or ma'am. Sacrifice it and choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. You may play it this turn without paying its mana cost. That's just so much jank built into one card. I recommend this card in other builds that have black. All right, counter target non-creature spell. Costs you nothing if you have your commander. Force a negation. Cost you 3 or cost you nothing if you exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Counter target non-creature spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it. I mean, that's pretty bueno. All right, Force the Will. We all know what this is. If you don't have it, run a different counter spell. It's all good in the hood. You may pay 1 life and exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Counter target spell. All right, control. Mu Yanling. Now this does a couple of things. For its uptick of 2, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Thumbs up. Draw 2 cards. Thumbs up. And its ultimate, if you hit its ultimate, you gotta put something in the comments because that's hilarioso. Mucho bueno. Tap all creatures opponents control. You take an extra turn after this one. Extra turns for you. You get an extra turn and you get an extra turn. Swan Song. Counter in a pinch for 1. You give them a blue bird for their troubles, which who cares? Who cares, man? All right, so we got rogue support. We have a couple things going on here where we can mess with the tribal aspect of this, turn a rogues into ninjas and ninjas into rogues, and yes. Plus, Brazen Borrower is super jank hilarious. You can, for 2, return target permanent opponent controls to its owner's hand, which is way more powerful than you realize because you're getting a 2-for-1 out of this one. Out of, the list. No, not the list. Throne of Eldraino. Eldraino your Walleto for buying a Brazen Borrower. Hopefully you cracked one of these. And then you can just drop it in with Flash, which is important for a few other cards in this build. Flash, flying, Brazen Borrower can block only creatures with flying. We don't really care about that. We really want to hit to face with this thing. Or ninjutsu this bad boy, which we'll talk about a little more once we hit the ninjas. All right, Notion Thief, another flasher to get something on the board end of your opponent's turn, but with a bonus. If an opponent would draw a card, except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps. Instead, that player skips that draw and you draw instead. Yes, indeed. Sakashimiya, the imposter. How many more times do you think I should use that voice in this episode? Some of you are going to be like, use it for the whole flipping thing. And some of you are like, please stop. Please stop now. 4-drop 3/1 legendary rogue. As Sakashima the Imposter comes into play, you may choose a creature in play. If you do, Sakashima comes into play as a copy of that creature, except its name is still Sakashima the Imposter. It's still legendary, and it gains 4. Return Sakashima the Imposter to its owner's hand at end of turn. So what's nice about this, in case you hadn't really put 2 and 2 together or you're not familiar with this card, is when it comes in, the legendary rule doesn't jack up if you make it a copy of another legendary card. Yes, moving on. Slither Blade. We mainly have this in here because it can't be blocked. Soaring Thought Thief. We have this in here because it has flash and can fly it in at the end of turn. Plus, it gives rogues extra fun stuff. And like I said, we have a couple tribal synergy cards in here to make ninjas, rogues, ninjas, etc. All right, you should be familiar with this, Senegar Rising. It's still, as of this recording, in standard play for those mill decks. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, rogues you control get +1/+0. Whenever 1 or more rogues you control attacks, each opponent mills deuce. 2 cards. See, bet you didn't realize you're going to be learning Spanish in this episode. Thieves Guild Enforcer also for the rogue mechanic and the flash. Flash it in there, boys. Flash it in. Flash, whenever Thieves Guild Enforcer or another rogue enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 2 cards. Asla, I bet you didn't realize you're playing a mill deck. Well, you're actually not, but that's just an extra added alt-win con, I guess. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in the graveyard, Thieves Guild Enforcer gets +2/+1 and has Death Touch. Triton Shorestalker for 1, can't be blocked. Oh, so some rogue support. I love this. It's not Ninjustu. Ninjustu, yeah, I said it right. But it's got some jank if they're rogues. It's got Flash. We like that. Flash for 4. Return an unblocked attacking rogue you control to its owner's hand. Put Sereth Sand, the Trickster, from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Whenever Sereth Sand deals combat damage to a player, you may put target permanent card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Jank, jank, jankalicious. Etrata the Silencer. Now, I love the fact that this costs you less than 50 cents to put it into this deck if you don't already have it. It can't be blocked. And whenever Etrata deals combat damage to a player, exile target creature that player controls and put a hit counter on that card. That player loses the game if they own 3 or more exiled cards with hit counters on them. Etrata's owner shuffles Etrata into their library. I mean, this is amazing for 1v1 play, but even super jankier with playing against 3 or 4 for that matter. It's awesome. You can whack somebody out of the game and then shuffle it back into your library, which is, hey, we're groovy with that. We're groovy. It's not a one-turn kill kind of scenario anyways. But like I said, love the fact that this is less than $1. Boom Shalakalaka. Vela the Nightclad, 6-drop. Costs too much. It should be 5, but whatever. 4/4 jank. Oh, we're in the jank section. Intimidate. This creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share a color with it. Most likely there's going to be some creature out there that doesn't share black or blue with it. People just tend to like to play green a lot, I've noticed in a lot of Commander. Other creatures you control have Intimidate. Boom, boom. Knocking out the room. Whenever Vela the Nightclad or another creature you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 lifeo. Arcane Adaptation. All right, so we are in a couple tribal cards here. As Arcane Adaptation enters the battlefield, choose a creature. Creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to their other types. So you drop this thing, everything's a ninja, including what else they are. So boom, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Boom, boom, boom. All right, another really funny tribal-ish card. As Cover of Darkness comes into play, choose a creature type. Creatures of that chosen type have fear. Fear can't be blocked except for black creatures or artifacts. So most likely you're going to be able to slip some of these through with this in there. All right, all right. Oops, what did I do? What did I do? Oh, there we go. Misclick. Maskwood Nexus works wonderfully in this kind of bi-tribal deck we got going on because it makes everything. Maskwood Nexus for 4 creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. And if that weren't enough, for 3, you can tap and create a 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature token with Changeling. That also becomes a rogue and a ninja and everything else under the sun. All right, we're going to blast through the land. All right, Agadeem's Awakening, which on the flip side is a Black mana source that can come in untapped for 3 damage to yourself. Really like these modal cards out of Zendikar Rising. I think the black one's my favorite. Return from your graveyard to the battlefield any number of target creature cards that each have a different converted mana cost X or less. So in a pinch, we can start reanimating things out of our graveyard. And on the other side, in a pinch, we have a black mana source. I say that very specifically because it is not a swamp. Blinkmoth Nexus. They wipe the board. You still have a creature that you can bring in unblocked. Blinkmoth Nexus becomes a 1/1 Blinkmoth artifact creature with flying until end of turn. It's still a land. Or target Blinkmoth creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. All right. Yes. All right, Clearwater Pathway, the pathway that is blue-black. Command Tower for blue-black. Islands, we're running 10. Morphic Pool. This is the one, if you have 2 or more opponents, it comes in untapped. I'm a big fan of untapped mana sources. Polluted Delta, so we can go fetch an island or swamp. Prismatic Vista to go do the same thing. Reliquary Tower. You know what? I really like that new version of this. Is it this one? No, but whatever. Moving on. Rogue's Passage to give something unblockable for 4. So in a pinch, we can make something unblockable that already isn't. Seagate Restoration, the blue version of the modal land that can come in untapped for 3 damage. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand +1. You have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. And like I said, for the second time in this episode, Hull Breacher is out. So we don't have to risk giving a bunch of sacrificial tokens to an opponent. I'm speaking about you, Zach. Yes, you. Shout out to Zach, buddy of mine. You guys have seen some of his episodes, right? All right, Shizo Death Storehouse. This is out of Champion of Kamigawa. All right, had to do the voice. I might have to do it a couple more times because this is a ninja deck. I mean, come on. Target legendary creature gains fear until end of turn. Sunken Ruins for some mana fixin', some swampy swampersons. Underground River for a pingland, or painland, sorry. Underground Sea, you absolutely can swap this out for something else. You don't have to have an original gangster land that costs you $1 billion. I happen to have one, so I'll probably proxy this in when I actually put this one together. I am definitely putting this one together. Urborg turns all of your lands into swamps as well. We likey. Shockland in our colors. Arcane Signet. Oh, we're into ramp now. Dimir Signet in our colors. Mana Crypt. You can swap it out if you don't have it. Yes, swap it out for like, I don't know, anything. I should probably give you something like to swap it out with. But for some reason, my brain is blanking out. Commander Sphere. There you go. Soul Ring. Yes. I wonder if Soul Ring will ever get banned. Who knows? Who cares? All right. Also in Dimir colors. Pings us for 1. All right. We got a little bit of draw. Draw with the trolley. All right. Flying Death Touch when Baleful Strix enters the battlefield. Draw a card. I like that. Plus it has Death Touch. I mean, boom. Boomy Boomerson. Brainstorm so we can, go grab some cards. Draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. We filter them, and we move on with our lives. I personally love Coastal Piracy. I don't know what you guys think. Tell me what you think in the comments section. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. I like that. It gives you the option. You don't have to. Don't want to be milling yourself. Speaking of no option, Consecrated Sphinx for 6/6 flying. Whenever an opponent draws a card, you may... Oh, it also has may. Yeah. You may draw 2 cards. I like. That's 3 times in a row. I like that card. Heuristic Study. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player pays 1. You've seen enough of our episodes to know that I love this card, and I know when people are playing against it, they hate this card. Shadow Mage Infiltrator for 3/1/3 with Fear. Fear is black or artifacts are the only ones who can block. Whenever Shadow Mage Infiltrator deals damage to a player, you may draw a Ricky Ricardo. All right, Changeling Outcast can't be blocked, and it's a Changeling, and it can't block. We don't care about it not being able to block. All right, we're into the ninjas. I'll look it. All right, Fallen Shinobi for 5/4. I'm definitely not going to do that voice for all of the ninjas. Ninjutsu. Let's reiterate what ninjutsu is. Return an unblocked attacker you control to hand. Put this card onto the battlefield from your hand, tapped and attacking. So, you got an unblockable going in that's a 1/1. You can ninjutsu that bad boy. Swap it out for Fallen Shinobi for 4, and then it does all of its cool mechanics. Whenever Fallen Shinobi deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Until end of turn, you may play those cards without paying their mana cost. Boom, boom, uppercut. What? That's right. Higure, the Stillwind, for 5/3/4. Ninjutsu 4. Whenever Higure, the Stillwind, deals combat damage to a player, you may search your library for a ninja card. Reveal it and put it into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. For 2, target ninja creature can't be blocked this turn. So, it either got the ninjutsu mechanic, or you can make something unblockable. I mean, booyah. Booyah to ya. Ingenious Infiltrator for 4. Ninjutsu 2. I like it. Whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. No choice there. Draw a card. It's not May. Ink Eye Servant of Oni for 6/4. Ninjutsu 5-drop. Whenever Ink Eye Servant of Oni deals combat damage to a player, you may put target creature card from that player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. I mean, really? That's awesome. Super duper awesome. Miss Syndicate Naga for 3/3/1 Ninjutsu 3. Whenever Miss Syndicate Naga deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of Miss Syndicate Naga. This, if you play it early, can become quite an out of control creature. It really can. Mistblade Shinobi 3-drop 1/1 Ninjutsu 1. Whenever Mistblade deals combat damage to a player, you may return target creature that player controls to its owner's hand. Oh, that's jank. This should be in the jank section. Ninja of the Deep Hours for 4/2/2 Ninjutsu 2. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. All right, we got Okiba Ging Shinobi for 5/3/2. You know, I really like the original version of this. Betrayers, there we go. I just like the symbol, the little throwing star thing. All right, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards 2 cards. I mean, these ninjas just do ninja-rific things. Whoa! That came out of nowhere. 3-drop 2/2 Phantom Ninja can't be blocked. Sakashima's Student. This one is super jank, and that's why it's expensive. It's a 4-drop, and I mean financially. Ninjutsu for 2. Oh, 2? Yes, thank you very much. You may have Sakashima Student enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's still a ninja in addition to its other creature types. I mean, it synergizes so amazingly, and super jankalicious Rex. Silent Blade Oni. It does cost a lot. 3 blue, black. But, and its ninjutsu is pretty ridiculous too. It's for 6. Whenever deals combat damage to a player, look at that player's hand. You may cast a non-land card in it without paying that card's mana cost. When you laugh against your opponents, do it internally. You've heard me say it many times. Do it inside, not outside. All right, we got Skull Snatcher. What a strange name. What a strange looking card. Ninjutsu 1. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 2 target cards from that player's graveyard. I mean, kind of goes against some of the things we're doing, but in a pinch, works out. Throat Slitter. Really? I'm surprised they were able to get away with that name. It is an older card, though. It is from Betrayers. All right, Ninjutsu 3. When it deals combat damage to a player, destroy target non-black creature that player controls. And there's a lot more out there than just black. I tell you what. Walker of Secret Ways. 3-drop Ninjutsu 2. Return target ninja you control to its owner's hand. Activate this ability owner during your turn. Yeah, right on. Donkey Kong. All right, we got some tutors in here. Demonic. Put it in your hand for 2. Mystical Tutor, put on top of your library for 1 blue. Pretty swank there. Oh, I guess if you guys aren't already familiar with this, which you should be if you're watching our videos religiously, anytime you see blue, usually you'll see Mystical Tutor. It's for an instant or sorceress spell. Opposition agent. I'm going to leave it up to you whether you swap this out. I tend to play in play groups where they're tutoring. I mean, I just do. You end up controlling their tutor abilities, and you have flash. If they try to tutor, you get to go tutor for them and take those cards and exile them and play them for the rest of the game. Scheming Symmetry, assuming you're playing against 3 other people or 2 or whatever, this is really helpful, especially with politics. Choose 2 targets, including yourself. Each of them searches the library for a card, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. Vampiric Tutor, go tutor up a card, put it on top of yours. And it costs you 2 life. All right, we got some, give me some turns, yo. Give me some turns. This is super hilarious. We don't have a bunch of ramp, but by the time these are coming into effect, they're just super hilarious and actually really crazily competitive. Take an extra turn after this one. And you can do Awaken 6, which means if you spend a whole hell of a lot of mana, 6 blue, you can put 6 1/1 counters on target land you control and it becomes an 0/0 element creature with haste. And it's still a land. So you got a huge board clear. It's your turn. You spend the mana you have. Then you got a beater as well. Pretty awesome. Temporal Manipulation for 5. That's pretty cheap for a take an extra turn. Hell's bells. Temporal Magistry for 7, but Miracle 2. Miracle. Hey, this is Miracle again. Take an extra turn after this one. It top deck this one and it costs you only 2. What? Yep. Temporal Trespass, another take an extra turn with Delve this time. So you can exile cards from your graveyard to pay for all 8 of that if you want, and then have 3 blue. So you could theoretically play this for only 3 blue. Yes, please. May I have another turn, that is? Yeah, no? Okay. All right, Time Warp, take another turn for 5. I mean, just anything that's 5? I'm thinking is pretty swank, man. All right, Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow. Yorukit, me lobby. Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow. All right, love this deck. I love this card. I love this build. I hope you do too. Thanks for tuning in till the end. Till the end, my friend. This is the end. My only friend, the end. Yeah. Anybody know who that is? The Doors. Anyways, all right. Thanks for tuning in. Check out our other episodes. And thank you for being a subscriber. Laters.